Hi there. So I purchased 6 of these espaliered apple trees when we first moved to the property in the summer of 2022. We planted them in July, which was kind of like the dead of summer, but I went to the nursery and I just saw these beautiful trees with all these leaves in this espaliered shape, and of course I got excited and I bought 6 of them and I planted them. And the first season, not that July, but the following spring, we saw apple flowers, which were so beautiful, and then we got these little baby apples, which was so exciting. I was hesitant to do anything with these apples, even though I saw that the branches were really young and very weak, because I was just so excited to see apples on the tree. So the person at the nursery that I purchased the tree from actually encouraged me to take off all the fruit for the first year so that the tree could focus its energy on building a really nice root system so that it would be more productive later on, but I didn't have the heart to do that. I did know that you're supposed to take off the fruit and thin it just so that it's not as heavy, and then that will encourage the apples to get larger. So I waited a little bit longer than I am this year. They were pretty big and the branches were all kind of weeping, but I did have to do it because the tree was just way too heavy and the branches looked like they were gonna break. So this year I'm being a little bit more brave and I'm gonna start thinning them. I probably should have thinned them when they were smaller, but I just love seeing these baby apples on the tree. And in order to make me feel better about it this year, I'm actually going to take the little apples and I'm going to use them to infuse my homemade kombucha that I just started. So I'm not an expert apple thinner, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave maybe like 1 or 2 fruit, and then I'm going to pull the rest and then put it into my little container. Another thing that I learned about stone fruit trees, or just trees in general, like the deciduous type, which are the trees that have their leaves that fall when it's wintertime. I also didn't know about that. There's evergreen trees, and those are ones that stay green all year long, like passion fruit or citrus. And then there's deciduous trees, which are trees like apples or peaches or pears or crepe myrtles. There's a ton of trees that lose their leaves in the fall and winter, and I think those are typically the more beautiful types of trees with beautiful flowers, but you only get it for part of the season. You don't get it all the time. So that's something that you have to take into consideration in terms of what you want to look at year round, and it's something that I'm working on when I'm designing the landscape and making it look really productive and beautiful. My dream for the property is to have kind of like an edible food forest, but also beautiful, and I want to incorporate as many beautiful and productive things as I can. I do love ornamental shrubs and trees, like I love boxwoods, but I don't want to put too many things like that at the property, because although the boxwoods are beautiful and it creates a really nice structure, I want as many things that I can either eat or cut for flowers or something for the house. So if I'm gonna pay for the water, pay for the supplies, prune them, I want to have things that will create something that I can either eat or I can use in the home. Look at this, is Fuji. Fuji, say hi. Fuji is my best helper out here. He's always keeping me company, which keeps me coming out here to work. Huh, Fuji? Also something to consider, and I didn't know this when I first moved here, but there are, you can purchase bare root trees, and they don't look very fantastic when you go to the store. They're, you know, because they're kind of like sticks and they're not very exciting when you buy them typically in like January, but they're so much cheaper. They're way less expensive than these trees. And if I'm gonna, once I start planting more and more trees around the property, I'm gonna plant bare root trees in the winter time because they're so much less expensive. And then also transportation or delivery. We didn't have a truck back when we purchased these, so I actually had to pay for delivery for all of these trees, and it was a lot of work to drag the entire pot filled with soil and a larger tree. I probably could have fit, I don't know, a handful of these bare root trees in our car from the nursery without having to pay a delivery fee if I had purchased them bare fruit. And now that I see how fast they grow and how fast they produce, I think that it would be worth it. And then also you can prune them how you want to. So when you buy it at the store, they're kind of already pruned into the shape that they pruned it into. So for example, our Santa Rosa plum that I had to chop down because it was really wonky and a very strange shape. I didn't know anything about selecting a tree when I purchased that tree, so that's another thing to consider. But yeah, they do grow really fast, and to consider if you're looking to purchase trees for your home or your orchard. Okay, so here we go. So this tree right here is the Dorset Golden Apple, and these trees all do good in our area. Some apple trees need like another tree to pollinate them. I don't know too much about stone fruit, but I know all of these produce on their own or with what we've got here. So hard. So another thing is find a link for a video that does a good, actually there's a really good video that I watched about fruit trees. So if I can find that video, then I'll link it in the description, and they're gonna do a way better job at explaining the science and all that stuff. I just want to share things that I've learned kind of the hard way and things that I think would be useful to other people. So, all right, so I think for this one, I'll take off. I'll take off all of these. I haven't sprayed any of these trees with anything. Just like with our peach tree, for example, our peach tree has some sort of fungus. I think it's peach leaf curl, and I believe you're supposed to spray it with something when it's dormant, when it doesn't have any of its leaves, to deter those things from happening. But I am kind of a difficult learner. I always want to, instead of doing what everybody says to do, I kind of like to learn the hard way or learn by trying. So I really want to know, do I need to spray this? Is this completely necessary before I go out and purchase something and then you know, spend the time and the money on doing it? So I'm trying to do kind of like a permaculture concept here, where we just let nature work with each other. But I realize like sometimes that's not possible, and there is going to come a point where I need to do some more intervention. But I just want to try all the things so that I know for myself that it's necessary and it's worth it. So those are just two, so I'm going to leave 2 per branch. This one has a lot of apples on it. This one is the Anna apple. This one has a lot of little fruit on it. So I'm probably gonna have to come back and do this another time, but this is just my first pass at it. So I think I'll just leave like 2 for now. Actually, on this last branch, I'm just gonna leave 1. Oop, both of those came out. Oop, oop, oop. See, if I take 1, then more, oh, those 2 came off. Okay, that's probably enough.